Hang on, stand by. You should have that now. You good?
I'm good.
Awesome. All right, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Take care.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is staying warm in these frigid temperatures. So as Tim said, we're talking about open houses today. Um, we're going to go over the benefits of them, the best practices, and how to prepare and prospect during and afterwards. Um, and I really, really don't want to be talking at you guys for the next 2 hours. So the more people that participate, ask questions, share your experiences, I would really, truly appreciate that. Um, I don't know if you guys want to take a minute to scan this so you guys can grab your handbooks or if you already have them. But I'll give you a second to do that. Okay. So again, covering open houses. I think there's a we're going to cover how to capture leads, the best practices. We'll go over how to prepare for them, and then we'll have a little recap at the end where you guys can all share what your ahas are. Um, so Gary says nothing about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have. I think we can all agree on that if you want to be in the business of real estate, at the end of the day, you have to have the leads, you have to have the clients, you have to be converting the people, the unmets into actual business. So some of the biggest limiting beliefs around open houses are I don't have a listing yet to hold an open house. I don't have signs. I don't know the answers to the questions that visitors have. Um, Open houses don't really work because most people look online or I won't feel safe. Has anybody said any of these? No. Um,
I have.
have you? Which one?
Um, the signs
Mm-hmm.
and the not knowing answers to the questions.
Okay. Um, so as far as the sign goes, there are office signs that you can utilize both for like the listing signs, if you haven't bought any yet. And then there are people, who will gladly share their directional signs with you to put out for your open houses. Um, and then as far as not knowing the answers to any questions, you're never going to know all the answers. Even on my own listings, I don't know all the answers. You're always going to get some really weird oddball question that's completely out of left field. In those situations, just acknowledge it. That's a great question. I'm going to have to reach out to the seller and get that answer for you. Um, and then as far as the basics, always pull the property disclosures ahead of time. Read through them so you know what type of heating system it has. If the sellers know how old the shingles are and it's on the disclosure, then you can know how old the roofing is. Things like that. You just do your best to prepare. And like I said, if you don't know an answer, just be honest and say, I don't know, and I'm going to get you that answer as soon as possible. As far as not feeling safe, I always have a partner with me at an open house. You can certainly ask another agent to do it with you, but it's also a great way to build relationships with your affiliates because you're bringing them value because now they're getting the opportunity to engage with the buyers directly as well. And then you have somebody there in case of an unsafe situation. But 9 times out of 10, I really just want somebody to keep me company because they can get a little bit boring if nobody's coming through. Any questions on any of that? So who is the open house benefiting? Um, the two main goals of an open house are always to sell the house that you have that you're hosting and to generate more leads. So it benefits the sellers by getting their home more exposure.
Looks like you've been promoted to host.
Who?
It said in the top right that Kelsey was the host now.
Kelsey, teach us. Should we call the office?
Probably.
I'm not sure I'm prepared to host this training, so I can't do much good there.
I'll call KW.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I have Tim's number, so I can't send him a message.
Her internet must have dropped.
Oh,
Huh?
Kate said you guys got kicked, huh? I think, did she get kicked or did you guys get kicked?
I think she got kicked because we're all still here.
Yeah.
I'll wait till she bounces back. Interesting. It's cold. I think the wires are just freezing and snapping. I have no idea.
did you get a notification or are you watching?
No, she just texted me.
Oh, okay.
She said we just got booted off Zoom. I'm like, that makes sense. All right. I'd say her lack of presence is probably the fact that she's down. Now she's gonna freak out. I'm like, we are all here. While we wait for her to skate back, anybody have questions, comments, concerns about anything with scheduling, classes, confusion around anything?
I have a question, or
Yes,
I
ma'am.
would love some help with something, or even just like, I don't know that the whole conversation should happen here.
Sure.
But I'm about to take on my first condo listing in New Hampshire, and I need help.
Okay.
I was at the listing yesterday going through disclosures, and I feel like a lot of the information is specific to the association.
Yep.
So I don't know how to fill them out. Is there a time that we can meet after to go through all that, or is there someone that you would suggest I reach out to?
Yeah, I'll send you a note. I'll shoot you an email.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Thank you.
Kate, how's your
Um,
dial up? We doing okay?
I have no idea what happened.
That's
All
all
of a
right.
sudden, everybody was just gone.
You still have screen share.
Okay, hold on. We're
You
coming
can
back.
throw that back up.
Okay, we're back.
We're back. Just a heads up too, if weather, like, and I just mean the wind and the cold, if it starts to jam you guys up, and Kate, you're getting kicked out every 14 seconds, you know, it's gonna start to become a little clunky. You guys could always make a decision as a group that you're not going to keep fighting your way back into the room. Hopefully that's not the case today. If that happens, everybody should always remember, if you ever miss a session or if we get weathered out, or somebody's internet is just jammed up. We've had it happen to instructors in the past. I'm going to invite you to just go to our hub. When you go to the hub at the top, you'll see learning videos right in the middle. And if you click on that, it pulls you over to YouTube, and you can find all 20 sessions from our last Ignite are in there. So you won't get Kate's beautiful face, but you'll probably get Melissa Lesniak, who she's very excited about open houses. I'll leave it right there. Very excited about open houses. She has a process, to say the least. All right, I'm going to give you host again. Stand by. I'm going to start recording again. Hang on. I think we do. Oh no, we're recording. We never stopped recording because you left. You left us, Kate. Rude.
I did. I got booted out. Not all of us. Just
Rude. Stand by. All right. Best of luck, everybody. And Kelsey, I'll send you that email.
So I apologize, guys, we're back. So again, who is the open house benefiting? So obviously it's benefiting the sellers because it allows their home to get a high level of exposure all at one time. I always explain to my sellers, it's a little bit easier on them if they are able to know ahead of time, hey, on Saturday from 11 to 1, you're going to leave the house. If you have kids, if you have dogs, you're going to take everybody with you for those 2 hours. And that is sometimes easier on them rather than waiting for showing requests and being like, hey, can I show the house at 9:30? Hey, can I show it again at 11? Hey, can I show it again at 2? And they're just in and out of the house all day. Makes it a little bit easier on them to consolidate those all into one agreed upon time frame. Buyers, it's giving buyers the opportunity to go and see the home. And sometimes buyers will like this better because they don't need to go with an agent. They don't even need to have be signed with an agent. It's a little bit more of a obligation-free way to view a house that they might be interested in. Neighbors can come and see how their house compares to the house that's for sale. And then from there, they can really kind of see what their house could be worth. And then selfishly, it's going to benefit us as the agents because we're able to capture the leads of potential buyers. Like I said, I've gotten listings from open houses. So it's not a foregone conclusion that you wouldn't meet future sellers. It gets your name and your face out in that neighborhood by physically being there, and then you're going to have your signs with all your names around the neighborhood. And it gives you good practice to have more conversations, answer questions, and provide value. Has anybody hosted open houses yet?
Yeah, I've had one listing back in the summer, and I did open houses, and I think to add to everything you said, it also brought in more aggressive offers because it was a busy open house.
That's
That
awesome.
a lot of the buyers that were coming in there, they were feeling the pressure to put in more aggressive offers, so it ended up selling well over asking after the first weekend.
That's awesome. Congrats.
I'll agree with him. I've also hosted open houses, and I feel like it really does create more competition because then buyers can see like who they're up against.
Mhm.
And it kind of like lights a fire under them to get that offer in sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
And I will also agree, I don't know if it was you or Tim that said it earlier, but if you bring a project, your open house will be busier. Every time I've hosted an open house, I expect it to be kind of a dud. Because if it had already been on the market for a little bit, if I bring something with me, the less chances of me getting that, or like it's the less chance of me getting that project done because people ultimately just show up.
Yep.
It's weird how that works, but it does.
No, you're right. It does. Murphy's Law.
Yes.
So what are the benefits of the open house? I think Patrick and Kelsey both just made a great point that it does generally result in higher offers for the seller. When you can physically see your competition, it does, in Kelsey's word, light a fire underneath you to really put your best foot forward. Generally they're inexpensive. Again, if you are getting an affiliate involved, the affiliate will usually bring the snacks and the beverages. So really all you have to do is show up, and I don't even print packages anymore to give out to people. I will have a QR code that they can scan and get all of the documents digitally. I also will have a PDF copy of the documents in one package that you can quickly email off to somebody. they're a great prospecting tool. You're getting qualified leads, and generally you're getting a high return on investment for the time that you're putting into it. So the most important thing when you are doing an open house is to set goals around the open house. So you wanna, when you're setting goals, you want to make sure they're smart. So you want to make sure that you can measure them, that they're specific, that there is a time frame around them, and that they are actually achievable. You don't want to set an outrageous goal and then not be able to hit it and get down on yourself. So what are some goals that you guys think that you could set around open houses that would be realistic for you?
Maybe generating, let's say, 10 contacts or
Mhm.
15 contacts from an open house, a number that makes sense for your current volume.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can do that. It doesn't just have to be via the people that are coming to the open house. The day before, you can always door knock that neighborhood and be generating contacts around an open house that way as well. So it's really just about getting creative and setting a plan and being purposeful. And part of that is that you are going to pick the house. So think about where you want to work. If there is a city or a town or an area that you want to be in, research properties that are in there. Don't be afraid to reach out to a listing agent and offer to host an open house for them. I think we're all busy, so having you guys reach out and offer value in that way is huge. And the worst thing that anybody's ever going to say to you is no. But I think you would be surprised at how many people would take you up on that offer.
Question.
Yeah.
What kind of things would you ask the listing agent so that you could become more acquainted with the open house that you would be hosting?
That's a good question. I think I would ask, is there anything special about the house that you want me to point out? If it's been on the market for a little while, I would ask questions about, what are you getting? Are you getting showing requests? And then no offers, or are you just having people that aren't even interested? Generally that will tell you if it's more of a price issue or a condition issue. If you're getting just no interest in general, it's very likely price. If you're getting interest but no offers, then it's usually the condition. And from there you can ask, what do you think that might be causing that? Get their opinion on that, and then have they had a conversation with the seller about what next steps might be? And then that just allows you to communicate better to any potential buyers that come in. If it's an overpriced listing, I would probably find another listing to host an open house for. Get the disclosures ahead of time. If they're not online, that is something you can ask the listing agent for, and you're going to want to read through those again and just familiarize yourself with the house and the property.
So maybe schedule a time to see it yourself before the open house, or maybe just an hour before or something.
Yeah, and you can show up early, like an hour before, get yourself familiar with the house, make sure all the lights are on. If you're having food, you're gonna have where you want to put that, have a sign-in sheet and your business cards and where you want to be able to put those things out. you want to give yourself time to put directional signs up. I know some people love to put balloons up. That's worked really well, just to draw attention to it. And also to familiarize yourself with the neighborhood a little bit. So you know, the house, you can walk to the park, there's restaurants nearby. Even something as simple, we live in an area where there are a lot of second homes. So it's really common to have people come from out of state to come to an open house. And I have gotten asked so many times, like, hey, where's a good spot nearby to go get lunch? So having something kind of queued up and ready to go for the area that you're in and be able to say, oh, this restaurant is fantastic. This is my favorite dish that they have there, or something simple like that. Just gives you more credibility as the local expert.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
how would you suggest going about approaching an agent about, offering to help out with any open houses? Like,
Sure.
what would be the best one?
Um, you'll see a lot of agents post right in our Keller Williams page. Hey, I have availability on this upcoming Saturday or Sunday, and I'm looking for open houses to host. And that's kind of like a no pressure way where it then allows people to reach out to you. But again, if you are like, I want to be the king of Dover, maybe you're going on the MLS and you're finding a Dover listing. I usually try to stick to listings that are in our office. And reach out to the listing agent and say, hey, Kelsey, I see you have a listing at 123 Main Street in Dover. That's been on for about 14 days. Just wondering if you're planning on having an open house this weekend. And Kelsey's going to tell you, oh, I thought about it, but I've got other showings, or I've got stuff going on personally that I can't do it. And then you can step in and say, well, would you be open to me hosting an open house on your behalf? And Kelsey's probably going to be really thrilled, because it gives her sellers, it's allowing her to provide value for her sellers by having another open house and getting her listing marketed. And then it's providing value for yourself because you have the opportunity to get in front of buyers.
Great, thank you so much.
Of course. So you're gonna want to prepare and practice ahead of time. So kind of like everything that we just touched on, you're going to want to talk to the listing agent ahead of time and be asking questions. If you're reading through the listing, if you're reading through the property disclosure and you have questions, chances are the buyers are going to have them too. So ask your questions, take notes, and then you can just practice having those conversations in the car, in the shower, with a spouse, with a friend, with a parent, whoever. And you'll be more prepared for when the buyers are in front of you. And if you stumble over the first few, that's okay. It's just going to get easier as you keep going. Again, bringing an affiliate with you, whether it's a lender, whether it is a home inspector, whether it is a title person, they're going to be able to help answer questions too as the buyers come in and they're like, oh, hey, I found this little water stain and I had a question about that. If you have an inspector there, they're going to be able to take the lead on that question and get that buyer an answer. And it really just reflects well on both you and the inspector. Same thing when buyers come in and have questions about rates, having a lender there is great for those questions. And then once you've been able to provide the value and answer those questions for them, you've already captured their information by having them sign in on this sign-in sheet. And then when you follow up with them after the open house, they're going to inherently trust you a little bit more because you've already helped them in person. So picking the time and the theme. I'll be honest, I don't really have themed open houses unless it falls on a holiday weekend. So it really comes down to the day and time. This time of year where it gets dark so early, I personally don't do like commuter open houses at night. A lot of times when people are looking for houses, they want to be able to walk around the outside, see the yard, see the condition of the exterior of the house, and it's really hard to do that in the dark. So I stick to weekend daytime showings in open houses, and I've found the most popular times are anywhere between the hours of 10 and 2. So I always give the sellers the option to say, hey, is there a 2-hour window between, 10 and 2 that works better for you? If they say no, sometimes it's as simple as seeing what other listings are also in that town. If they're having an open house from 10 to 12, does it really make sense to schedule your open house from 12 to 2? Probably not. I would make sure that they, if they can't be at the exact same time, then maybe you're overlapping them. Another thing that you guys can do, is reach out to other open houses that are going to be happening on the same day and time and ask if they want to put some marketing, some joint marketing pieces together. I've had good luck doing that for some open houses that I had up here in the Lakes region in Alton, New Hampshire. There was a weekend where there were going to be 3 open houses. They were at the same time. So I reached out to the other 2 agents and we put together a flyer that had all 3 listings on them. And we all had them at every open house. So when somebody came to my open house, I handed them the flyer and said, hey, just so you know, there's 2 other homes that are listed in this town. If you want to check those out while you're out and about. And the other agents were doing the same thing. So we all were increasing each other's traffic. As far as the theme goes, I've done some fun things, like I said, around the holidays. So an Easter open house the Saturday before Easter, we hid Easter eggs around the house. I've seen people do Cinco de Mayo and have like little margaritas and chips and guac available. So get creative, have fun with it, but don't get so hung up on a theme that you don't do anything. The most important thing is that just to get out there and do it. Has anybody done any fun themes or have any fun open house ideas? No? Okay. So you're gonna want to prepare your stats. Look at the MLS for the town that property is in, and know a little bit about what's happening in that local market. So again, if you're in Dover, you're going to want to look at How many single family homes are listed in Dover? How many are pending and under contract? How many have closed? Dover can have a wide price range. So if you're in a higher price range, maybe you're focusing on listings that have closed in the last 90 days that are over 500,000, or under $500,000 if you're on the other end of the spectrum. You can get as specific as you want to, but have some stats ready so that when the buyers come in and they're asking these questions, you have the information to give them. Other things that you can consider having teed up is any information on the local school districts, nearby recreations, restaurants, shopping, commute times. Again, and just knowing how far you are to Route 16, you know, how far it is to get to Portsmouth or to Boston. Just having those little tidbits in the back of your head can always help you prepare for any questions that you might get. And then when you're talking to the listing agent ahead of time, one of the questions that I mentioned you can ask was if there's anything specific about the neighborhood that the current owners really love, because if they love it, chances are other people are going to love it too. And last but not least, we want you guys to always, always, always be safe. There is not a sale in the world that is worth jeopardizing your personal safety for. So this should be your top priority. So again, using the buddy system, have another agent go with you, get an affiliate involved. There's so many lenders out there, title people out there, inspectors who would be happy to co-host an open house with you. If you can't find anybody, grab a friend. They can't answer questions because they're not licensed, but just having somebody there for safety is so important. You're going to want to arrive early so you can make sure that all of the lights are on, so that if it is a home that you haven't been in before, you can familiarize yourself, know where your exits are, park on the street, don't back yourself into the driveway. That can be a little bit difficult sometimes with being in New Hampshire, depending on where you are. If you're in the country, we do have more rural areas that have really long driveway. So just be mindful of where you're parking, and if God forbid something ever happened, would you be able to easily get out? You're going to want to check all of the entrances and exits, know where they are, make sure that everything is locked up when you leave. If it's unlocked when you get there, maybe do, you know, a quick check throughout the house. Make sure your cell phone is fully charged. Turn on all the lights. Check your local COVID guidance. I don't think that is as prevalent of an issue. And then do you guys know the kind of like the safety cues that we have in our office and that the Board of Realtors have?
I know we have like a orange folder at the
Yep.
office.
Yep. So you can call the office directly, and you can call any agent in the office and say, hey, Deanna, this is Kate Grassi. I'm at the open house for 123 Main Street, and I have a buyer here who's asking me some questions, and can you do me a huge favor and please bring me the orange folder that we have for this property so I can get those questions answered? And as soon as you say the words orange folders, Deanna should just be like, yep, I'm on it. And you've already said you're at the open house for 123 Main Street. So Deanna is going to call the police and have them go out there because you that is your signal that you're in an unsafe situation. Does anybody know the Board of Realtors one?
I think they have a red card or something like that.
Yep, that's exactly right. So every Board of Realtors, whether it's Seacoast, Stratford, Lakes Region, all of them have, it's a business card, it's just plain red and it says, Stratford County Board of Realtors on it. And if you're at an open house and you're feeling unsafe and another agent is there, you can take this card and say, Ryan, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Kate Grassi. Here's my card. And it looks really innocent to anybody who's looking on, but that is a signal to Ryan that I'm not safe. Please don't leave me here alone. Any questions on that? Do we have any ahas?
I actually didn't know about the red business card for the Board of Realtors, and I guess I actually do have a question. So does that apply to all of the boards, or is that only specific to Stratford County?
I'm fairly certain it applies to all of the boards, but we can certainly find out more about that. And I'm sure we can get a stack of cards for if people want them.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So now that we've talked about the benefits and the best practices, we will discuss how to prepare and prospect and pursue open houses. So a lot of the work for your open house is going to be done before the actual open house. So again, we talked about how to set goals around them, prospecting around them, and what that might look like. So the first step is obviously to identify the house. A ton of my lead generation is done via social media. So once you have the house selected, you know the time, you know the property address, start posting online that you're going to be having this open house. And like we talked about earlier, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with the neighborhood. You can door knock to personally invite the neighbors to come to the open houses. You're going to put up some signs that advertise your open house. And again, you're just going to keep posting it online to remind people, hey, I'm having an open house this weekend. It's going to be from Saturday on 11 a.m. in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Please come check out this great property. I know it's terrifying to do, but video and reels are a great way to make an impact online. So again, with the permission of the listing agent and the sellers, maybe you put something together just of you standing outside the house. You can be like, look at this fantastic house, come and see me on Saturday and come take a tour of it. We'd love to see you. We'd love to get your feedback and see what you think about the house, see what you think about the price. Anytime you're giving people the opportunity to give you their opinion, they are going to want to take you up on it. So again, things to think about that the clients want to know. They want to know about the neighborhood and the community. Are the neighbors nice? What are the neighbors like? That's such a common question. If you live in a more rural area, they might be asking about the buses and for school pickup. Knowing what day trash day is, what day do they put out their bins? That's always a good question. And then you're always going to have first time buyer specific questions of, you know, how do we get started? We really like this house. We want to put in an offer, but we don't know what to do. And then mortgage information. Again, if you have a lender that can be there with you, that is fantastic. If not, then you can ask somebody to just print up some flyers for you that have basic rate information and what their payments could look like based on the average down payment, stuff like that. Lenders, Brad Kelly in our office can put together a great little flyer for you for that. So again, here is kind of like a big checklist of all of the things that you can consider doing. Ordering the balloons, printing flyers, getting the yard signs out, having directional signs up. Advertising, it's probably going to be your biggest one. You want people to know about the open houses. Again, prepare questions that people might ask so that you can have your answers ready, and then role play and practice those conversations. Door knocking in the neighborhood to invite the residents is such an easy one, to knock on somebody's door and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm hosting an open house at your neighbor's house down the street. Do you know anybody who is looking to buy a home that might be looking to move into your neighborhood? People want to think that their neighborhood is desirable. So anytime that they have the chance to just be like, oh, my friend is living here or is looking for a house, they would love to live here because this is just such a fantastic place to live. And just getting the word out that way can help. And then it gives you the opportunity to just say, well, here's my card. You can have them call me. Or would you like me to call your friend? And kind of prospect that way as well. Putting together a home book to be displayed. This doesn't have to be fancy. It can be a 3-ring binder. Have a listing sheet, have the disclosures, have the tax docs in there, a copy of the deed, and anything else you feel might be important or relevant. That way people can flip through it while they're there. And then it gives you something to reference in case you have a brain cramp and, you know, I totally forgot what kind of heating system this is. Let's just check right here and look for you. So again, the day before and the day of, you're going to be advertising the open house. You're going to be putting up all of your signs. And then for the actual day of the open house, you want to make sure that you have some sort of sign-in sheet that you can use to capture the information of everybody that's coming through, because ultimately that's what you're doing it for. You want to get the buyer, so you need to capture their information. And then once you're at the open house, once you're in front of the people and you are talking to them, this is your opportunity to really build a rapport with them. Again, if you're answering their questions, if you are providing information, you are inherently building trust that you know about this property, that you are there to assist them. You've already provided value, and you're kind of starting to build that foundation so that when you call them later to follow up with them, they remember you. You've already helped them, so they're going to be more comfortable talking to you. You're going to greet everybody that comes in the door. Some people are going to be chatty Cathy's. Other people are going to kind of play a little closer to the vest, maybe not be so easily engaged in conversation. No matter what, you want to be positive. I kind of let them take the lead, and if somebody's asking questions, if they're kind of hanging around with you, then I might take that as an opportunity to say, okay, well, let me show you around the house, versus somebody who is a little bit more reserved and is kind of more comfortable walking around independently, in which case I'll say, I'm not going to follow you around through the house. You take your time to explore, and I'll be here if you have any questions. So what do you guys think that are some, how would you greet people who are coming through the door?
I don't know. That's hard. I've never done it before.
Mhm.
I do better a lot under pressure, so it's
Fair
kind of
enough.
hard.
So some great conversation starters, something as simple as what brought you here today? Have you been looking at any other houses? If the answer is yes, oh, awesome. What other houses did you go and see? How does this house compare to those homes? And then as they're leaving, asking them, what do they think about the property? Do they have any feedback? Again, people love the opportunity to give their opinion, so let them.
Question, if
Yeah.
when you say that part about how does this house compare to the other home you were seeing, how would you respond if they said something negative regarding the house that you were hosting?
So I always try to stay positive, but also recognizing that different people have different likes and different wants and different opinions. So not everybody is going to walk into your listing and love it, and that's okay. It's also important to know if you have two homes that are both listed for $500,000, and one is a 4-bedroom and one is a 3-bedroom, or maybe they're both 3 bedrooms, but one is in much better condition. That is important feedback for your seller. Because chances are if one buyer is thinking that, then other buyers are thinking that. And it might be important to have a conversation about doing a price adjustment.
Yeah,
Okay,
negative
thank you.
feedback isn't necessarily bad feedback.
True, very true.
I think all feedback is good feedback. No feedback is really where it gets tricky. At least if you're getting them to talk, you can build on that and you can have a conversation with them. It's the people who just go radio silent that are more difficult to deal with. To that end, as agents, make sure that you're checking in with the listing agent and giving feedback if you're the buyer's agent, because so many of us don't do that. And it really does make a big difference, especially as the market shifts a little bit and we are seeing longer days on market. It's helpful to really know what the buyers are thinking and if there's anything that we can be doing to benefit our sellers. Again, if you are on a team, knowing your team stats, knowing your market stats, at the very least, knowing the town that you are working in, just having some general market stats for that town. Understanding personality types. Again, if you have somebody who is a chatty Cathy, it's going to be really easy to kind of pull information out of them. If you have somebody who is all business, maybe they're high D personality, you're probably not going to tell them about the history of the house. I'm sorry, guys. And kind of just with a deep personality, you're going to get right down to business and the nitty gritty and just get them their answers because they don't care about your great grandmother's lilac bushes that have been there for 100 years. And have something to offer for everybody. So if it's a high D personality, you're going to get right to the facts. If it's a high I, maybe you're going to have some anecdotes about the property. If it's somebody who's a high C, that's when the stats are going to come in. But just knowing a little bit about all of the different things that you can then share no matter who is coming through the door. Mirroring their behavior is always another really great helpful hint. Again, if somebody is not wanting to talk to you, then you're probably not going to push for a conversation. If somebody is wanting a little bit more hand-holding, then offer to tour them through the property rather than just send them off on their own. Having something to offer for the visitors. I always like to do some sort of quick and easy snack. It doesn't have to be fancy. You guys can just get cookies that were from the Hannaford Bakery and plate them in some bottles of water. Grab and go things like little bags of chips or the prepackaged snacks are always great too. If you want to do something a little bit bigger, maybe you partner with a local business and do a discount on a product or offer a raffle for anybody comes to the open house. It can be as simple or as creative as you want it to be. So again, capturing the information is, I think it's the most important part. It's the whole reason why you're hosting an open house. So have a sign-in sheet. There is a way you can do it digitally to have the sign-in sheet link right to your command. I have not had a ton of luck with that. Certainly not to say that you guys shouldn't try it, but usually I have better luck with just an old-fashioned pen and paper. I think people are a little bit leery when you're asking them to sign in on a tablet. They get a little bit like, oh, what do you want all this information for? I think signing in on a pen and paper is generally a little less intimidating for a lot of people, but if you are technologically savvy and it works for you, then roll with that. Again, asking questions, what brought them in today? Asking them, what questions do you guys have about the property? Kind of gets the conversation going. And at the end of the day, you are there to get leads and to set appointments, and don't overthink it. Does anybody have any questions about capturing the information? So the last step is to pursue the leads. So after the open house, you want to take the contact info and update your database, and then you want to follow up with everybody. So you're going to be calling all of the leads, which is intimidating, and there's no way around it. It's just a thing that you have to do. But again, you've already spoken to them. Generally, people are not insulted when you call them. You say, "Hey, Ryan, this is Kate Grassi. We just met at my open house. I just wanted to give you a call and find out what you thought about the house." And Ryan's going to say, "Hi, Kate, it's great to hear from you. Yeah, we loved the house, or we didn't like the house, or we liked this, but we didn't like that." To Patrick's point earlier, I think all feedback is helpful in some way, shape, or form. So take notes about what they're saying. Best case scenario is we would love to write an offer. Are you able to help us with that? But maybe they say, this isn't the house for me. Like, I completely appreciate that. Are you working with another agent? And they say, "No, we're not." And be like, "Well, I would love the opportunity to help represent you as a buyer's agent and help you find the home that is right for you." And ask for the appointment. Ask, "Is there a time we can meet? Can I take you out for coffee?" If they're kind of on the fence about it, tell them, I don't, I'm not asking for you to sign anything. I just want to have a conversation and see if we feel like working together might be a good fit. It can be casual. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Again, don't overthink it. You just want to get in front of them and continue to build on the relationship that you started at the open house. Has anybody, Patrick, I know you've had some open houses. Did you get any leads that you were able to convert from those open houses?
No, I did not, and I guess it's partially my fault because at the time I had just got licensed and I was so new, I didn't know what to do with all the names that I had collected on the list. So I never called any of them. And I was still working, I still was working a full-time construction job as well, so I didn't necessarily pursue it.
Okay. Yeah, so you had some other stuff going on in your plate. When was your open house that you had?
It was back July, middle of July.
Something you could try doing is reaching out to them now. And just calling and saying, "Hey, this is Patrick. We met at the open house I hosted for this property. And I just wanted to give you a call. It was a whirlwind, summer and fall real estate market, and then the holidays. Did you end up ever purchasing a home?" And if they say no, ask them, "Is that still a goal of yours?" And just go from there. If they say, "Actually, yeah, we just closed on a home, or we just signed with another agent," it's always going to be a little bit of a gut punch. The only thing you can do is congratulate them. And, if you have any questions in the future, please don't hesitate to give me a call or reach out. I'm always here to help you. But you never know, you might get somebody who kind of fell off the radar and didn't have any luck buying and is getting ready to jump back in for the spring market.
That is some great advice I had not thought of. Hopefully I
Yeah.
can find that list.
Yes, that is the problem with the paper lists, is they are easy to misplace. Like I told you guys earlier, I've gotten listings from open houses, and I didn't even have to ask for the listing. It was, I hosted an open house. Somebody came through, and after the open house, I was doing my due diligence on behalf of my sellers and calling everybody and getting their feedback. So I talked to this great couple. They were an older couple, and thanked them for coming by, thanked them for having a conversation with me and getting the feedback. And we ended the conversation, and it was probably the next day they called me back and they said, you are the only agent who's ever actually called us and had a conversation with us after the open house. And we really appreciated that. We really liked the way that you did business. Would you please come over and give us a price opinion on our house? So it really is important to pick up the phone call. I know it seems daunting to do it, especially if time has gone by. If you're like Patrick and life got in the way, it happens to all of us. So it can be intimidating to call these people, but generally people are kind and they are happy to talk to you, even if it's just to say, hey, I'm actually not interested. The worst thing that somebody can say to you is no. Do we have any ahas?
I mean, I think we already went over my aha from that.
Yep.
So
Any questions or ahas that you have, Ryan or Deanna?
I'm completely brand new, so literally everything is off.
I'm in the same boat as Diana. I'm very new, but the kind of conversation we had about hosting open houses for another agent is definitely something that I took good notes on, and I'll be following up with.
Yeah. What areas is everybody in?
Right now, I'm in Concord.
Okay.
I'm Portsmouth, Newmarket area.
Okay.
I'm in Dover, but I grew up in the Derry area, so I know that area very well as well.
Nice. So a recap. So again, surrounding the best practices, you want to be purposeful when you are choosing a house, when you're preparing your materials, when you're picking the date and time. I can't say this enough, don't overthink it. You've got to do it, and it will get better and it will get easier every single time you do it. Just jump in and get your feet wet and get started. And most importantly, always, always, always be safe. The benefits to the open house, obviously, it's inexpensive. So, you know, in that regard, you're getting a high return on investment with the quality leads. I would challenge each of you to post, you know, this week or next in our Keller Williams Facebook page. Is everybody on that page?
To be honest, I am making my Facebook account tonight.
Okay. So there is an internal Keller Williams Facebook page. And once you get your Facebook set up, Deanna, or Ryan, if you guys aren't on it, you are more than welcome to text me or email me, and I can help you get into that page. But I would challenge each of you to post in there and introduce yourselves and just ask if there is anybody who is interested in allowing you to host an open house at one of their listings in your respected areas. And then this is just the Ignite tracker. The goal of Ignite is that you would have 10 real estate conversations a day and add 10 contacts to your database a day, and send 10 written notes. And then there is the 10-5-1 social media engagement. And I'm not going to lie to you, I am drawing a blank on what that is. I did look it up ahead of this so that this wouldn't happen, and here we are. So I apologize for that. It is essentially, I want to say it's that you are engaging with 10 other people on social media, sending 5 messages, and then you are making 1 post for yourself. And you're going to be doing the 10 comments or 10 engagements and the 5 messages before you make your 1 post. And the reason they recommend that is because it makes the Facebook algorithms happy, and so you get more eyes on your post. So those are generally the things that they recommend that you do every day. Again, don't overthink it. I remember when I get started, it was overwhelming. And you feel like you have to do everything. The most important thing is going to just come down to the conversations that you have every day. So if you are doing something else full time, and you have to kind of pick and choose where you're putting your energies, set aside an hour a day and get really purposeful, and in that hour have conversations, and I promise you will start to see some momentum in your business. When you're making your phone calls, we always want to be mindful of the TCPA. These fines are not small. I think they are like $42,000, and they come to the person who is making the call. So if you call somebody from an open house and they say, "Don't call me again," apologize and don't call them again. And if you are doing cold calls, you always want to check against the do not call registry. If you are having command issues, you can always go to answers@kw.com. We also have KT Temple, who is fantastic. I am a tech dummy, and KT has helped me many of times. Sometimes my question is so simple that he will just call me and we don't even have to have our meeting. And a positive affirmation for you guys: I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. It's so easy to get wrapped up in this idea that we are bothering people. But if you are coming from a place of contribution and you've already built that rapport from the open house, or outside of open houses, if you are doing care calls that Timmy talks about, or you are just calling people that you that you know that maybe you fell out of contact with, and calling saying, I was thinking about you and I hope you're doing well. I hope you and your family are getting through this cold weather. People truly will be happy to hear from you. We have to get out of our own way. So, has anybody, I know that you guys are all new, does anybody have any successes that they've had recently that they want to share, even if it's just, that they got somebody to pick up their phone?
I got a referral sent into Wisconsin.
Nice, congratulations.
That's awesome, Deanna. Congrats.
Thank you.
In the 6 months or so that I've been licensed, I have had one listing transaction and one buy transaction. And coming into the springtime here, I have like 4 potential buyers lined up.
That's awesome. Congrats, Pat.
That is awesome. Keep up the great work, man.
A conversation you can have with those buyers is to kind of work it back as we are heading into the spring market, making sure that your idea of spring and their idea of spring is aligning. And, if they're wanting to move on April 1st, back that up. A contract is going to be, around 30 days. That means they have to be under contract on March 1st. The average buyer looks for anywhere between like 2 to 6 weeks. So you can kind of work those numbers backwards and get in front of them and say, so if your goal is April 1st, then we really need to start looking now.
Yeah, I've kind of the conversation I've had with them is that, if you're looking to move, if you're looking to potentially buy something in the spring, you
Mhm.
should really start looking now because it takes like at least 90 days.
Yep.
And that's
That
like, that's even if you could wind up in a contract with the seller that has a contingency of finding a new place to live, and it could take even longer.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's great. I'm happy to hear you're having those conversations, and just staying in front of your people is probably the hardest part. And I think it's the part that all of us as agents struggle with. So good for you.
I would say the main objection I've had with them is pretty much all of them have some kind of hurdle they're
Mhm.
trying to solve before getting they got something, they got a little time of things they need to work on to qualify.
Okay.
It's kind of the hurdle they have right now.
Yep. But you've done the hard work, which is identifying what that is. And I'm assuming you've put them in touch with the appropriate person to help guide them through that. And you're staying in touch with them. So kudos to you, because that is all really important stuff in order for you to transact with them in the future. Okay. I'm not going to hold you guys hostage. The next Ignite will be on Friday. I believe Timmy said it's also going to be on Zoom, and we're going to talk about capturing leads on social media, and Sam Catterall will be your host for that. Do you guys have any final questions before I let you go?
Yeah, I have a question because you mentioned that you're a fan of using social media
Yeah.
and you're obviously well versed in having open houses. Have you ever utilized social media live streaming services to do kind of virtual open houses?
I have done virtual open houses. I have not done a virtual open house on social media. If I am doing a virtual walkthrough with somebody, generally I want to have a little bit more of a qualifying conversation with that person to make sure that they are a legitimate buyer. I wouldn't be opposed to posting like some small portions of the property on social media, but ultimately I do want people to engage with me so that I can capture their information. And if I'm doing a walkthrough tour on social media that they can just simply watch, then I've eliminated the chance to capture that info.
I see. Yeah, that's a very good point.
That being said, I have done videos when I'm at the open houses and I'll do like a quick scan around the room and be like, look at this cute little kitchen. Come and see the rest of the house at the open house today from 11 to 2. So you can show them enough of the house to get them interested without giving away every little detail.
Fair enough. That makes a lot of sense.
Awesome.
Oh, also, can you post a good contact email for you in the chat? That way we could get a hold of you when we need to get into that Facebook group.
Sure.
Thank you.
Of course, I'll post my phone number and my email.
Much appreciated.
My email is my maiden name, so if you are wondering why it is different, that is why. I never changed it because, again, I am not tech savvy.
Fair.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me. If you guys are on Facebook, I'd love to connect on Facebook. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have in the future.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for engaging.
Thank you.
Yes. It was good to meet all of you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your days.
You as well. Stay
Thank you.
warm.
Yes, thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.